All right, so here's part two of trade recap video for this week. We were on Wednesday and we're talking about the short setup from the double top. It wasn't the high ticket highs, but it was the kind of coming up to some resistance from the prior day. And whenever you have a double top, it's always a setup that I look for a trend change. So just drawing up that short, taking some off at the negative 23. Then I trailed above this little candles high here and drawing up the next retracement. I got stopped out of the last third up here. Then the last setup for the day basically was a repeat of that same setup. We had, if I drew off from lows to highs, we have a nice retracement and pulled back to the 50%, but then we double topped. As we come down, we break the swing low, we break the 61.8. So just drawing from highs to lows, and at the same time making sure that this low doesn't stop at the halfway back long for the day, which was about an 81s. So if I draw a low to high, uh, that was 81, we'll call it 81 even, and we took that out and broke to 27.80 50s. So that short was in play, and that was a good short opportunity that really took off down to lows of the day. And if you wanted to wait for a little more confirmation, you can always take, wait for this long opposing long to break, and then take the next short setup at 82s. Either of those would have been fine. As soon as we came down and hit the negative 23% target, I took a third off there, and then when we came down and break the bottom of the first 30-minute range was right about down here. I switched to trailing the rest of the position with each candle's high, and I got taken out down here in the 78, like 78.50, I think. So that was the last one for Wednesday. Thursday, today, we started off again inside day here, inside the prior day's range. I noticed right off the bat that we had a retrace halfway back of the day retracement. This was in the first 15 minutes, which I'm not trading in the first 15 minutes, just kind of observing. But then as we come down, we break the negative 23 and really extend beyond that. It's it's kind of rare that you retrace nicely to the 50% after you extend beyond the negative 23 like that. So I drew from highs down to lows. I mean, I drew up the short here like this, but wasn't expecting much. And drawing from highs to lows is always the better bet. And then just coming in here, making sure that we don't trade at the long, or making sure that we break the 61.8 of the long, the opposing. We did the first, and so just taking, drawing the very first setup after a big setup is kind of the way I always approach getting into trades at halfway backs of the day. So 75 evens was the short, and that one ran down pretty quick. We didn't make it all the way to the negative 23% target down here until a little bit later, but we ran down pretty quick and then got a little double bottom here. So I use 2 points. In my trade ladder, I've got it set up like my first target is automatically goes out at 2 points. Then I'll usually adjust it to be right about the negative 23. But I won't go less than a point and a half. And then in a case like this, where 75s to 74s is only a point, I'll just leave it at 2 points. And I end up doing that quite a bit, actually, just leaving it at 2 points. So first target was 2 points. Then we started moving quickly. Trail my stop above each candle's highs. We're coming down. And then got taken out here, about 72s. And then the last third, we had this double bottom here. And I put my stop above that swing high in the middle, also about 72s. And then I leave that 50% retracement up until we either break its 61.8 or hit the negative 23% target. And you notice how we just kind of went sideways. We didn't really have any major low ticks that lined up with lows in here. Pull up the NYSE ticks. I'm just going to switch this. Back to today. I get pretty particular with the ticks. I want them to line up, exactly at lows, exactly with the low price, and they were, a minute off here and there, a couple minutes off here and there. So there was really, there wasn't really much else to do in this chop. You draw up the next retracement short, and this is why I don't place a blind limit order there, because half the time they break through. So letting it trade and taking the first short after the bigger short is much better for your probabilities than just placing blind limit orders down here. And you want to stay out of the middle of this. Here I've got the first 30-minute range high and low drawn. Don't be trading in the middle of the first 30-minute range, because you get the market just breaking the 61.8, breaking 61.8, just over and over and over again. So I just stay out of that kind of chop. And then as we got towards the end of the kind of 90 minutes or so, we were still right in the middle of the first 30-minute range, so I just shut her down. One thing I didn't want to talk about, trade I noticed later in the day, when if you have a retracement series that's here going in a little series of longs, and then you start breaking swing lows, drawing up from highs to lows and trying to get into a short, getting in the first setup after a trend change is a good trade, good setup to be looking for. So anytime we're coming up to resistance, I'm looking for potential trend change. Anytime we're coming down to support, I'm looking for a potential trend change. And today was a little bit wacky. We're within the first 30-minute range most of the day, but you can see how we go from the bottom to the top, top to the bottom. Then we dipped a little bit lower this afternoon and then closed back right in the middle of the range. So I didn't have a whole lot of trades this week, but you don't really need a lot of trades if you're patient and if you're methodical. And last week I had I forget what day it was, but I had 2 losers in the same day. And then this week it's been a pretty good week. Haven't had a ton of trades, but there have been some good winners in there. So if you want to tune in live, you can always do that on Tuesdays, emoneymind.com/VIP. And I hope everyone has a great rest of your week, and we'll talk to you very soon. Thanks a lot.